Hello, welcome to the Fondest podcast. Today I'm here with Trillo and Suede. Thanks for being here.
Our pleasure.
Me too.
So I wanted to ask, how did this whole act come about?
Well, we met each other. How many years ago was that? I hate to think about it.
Because we were first an act, like typical ventriloquist act. We met each other in the clubs, comedy clubs, nightclubs, and we developed an act together. I mean, he was doing solo, I was doing solo.
Then we put it together, and we were pretty successful, but I was not satisfied.
He was especially unhappy after a short time. You want to explain why?
I think it's pretty obvious because I can't stand playing the role of the dummy, you know? I mean, it got laughs, but who the heck wants to be a dummy? It's demeaning. It's humiliating. It doesn't show my true talents. It doesn't utilize my talents.
Yeah, well, I understood that, but I was more reluctant to give up the act because we were doing pretty well, beginning to make a name for ourselves in the clubs in New York City and Brooklyn, especially our hometown area of New York. But I also saw his point, and we figured we'll put our heads together. We like to analyze things. We like to analyze people and figure out riddles and stuff.
So that's the kind we're thinking, what could we use that for? That talent, that skill. And we came up with detectives. That's the perfect thing. We did it, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. So how long have you two been together for then?
Well, we've been doing this for about over 20 years now.
Wow, awesome. So what are some of your best and fondest moments together?
Well, for me, it's the femme fatales.
Femme fatales. Yeah, we seem to attract a lot of very attractive, alluring, and potentially dangerous women.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I attract them. Let's be honest here. They can't resist me, my charms.
Yeah, and so that's certainly a high point of our experiences, but it happens incessantly, right? That's why when we recreated these cases that we've been on for the web series that we started maybe a year and a half ago,
yeah.
that a lot of those cases involve alluring femme fatales. But we have a variety of others too.
They're all fascinating characters. New York City is chock full of all kinds of weird characters, and they all seem to come to our office as clients. They'll make it here eventually.
Yeah. So we do have an assortment. So if people check out the web series, they'll see that these characters we have, both men and women, interspersed always by a femme fatale here or there. But we get all kinds of cases that take us all around the city.
We show some of those locations also.
Oh.
Within the episodes. You know, those episodes in the web series are recreations of actual experiences.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what are some of the craziest cases that have happened on the show?
Well, we start off season one, episode 1, with the one of our wildest.
Yeah, that's what sort of the inspiration for the web series itself was the Hong Kong Canary case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Beautiful young woman, Chloe Cliche, made her way to our office because her canary was stolen. Turns out it was a family heirloom, a jewel, jewel bestudded canary creation. So it somehow reminds us of the Maltese Falcon. You know,
Nice.
famous movie.
Yeah, film noir movie. And these coincidences are kind of amazing how our cases seem to recreate a lot of famous film noir movies over and over again.
Yeah, it's really kind of puzzling.
Yeah, baffling. But somehow, I don't know, twist of fate always seems to bring those famous film noir movies into our own lives. And that's why we present them to our audiences in the unique ways that they affect us.
Oh, nice. That's really cool to hear. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the future for this web series and you two as a duo?
Yeah, well, as a duo, we're going to keep soldiering on because we work well together, even though it's mostly my talents.
Well, come on, I'm pretty good also.
Well, he's pretty good, yeah, but I'm the best. But together, yeah, it works out well. Of course, I get sick of him sometimes, We need a break.
We need a break from each other. Of course, we can't. I mean, we're on the job most of the time, so we try to have some alone time.
Yeah, my alone time is not really alone time because invariably you can find me with a femme fatale, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But Trillo's alone time is really alone. He's a loner.
All right, you don't have to rub it in. Yeah, but as far as in the web series, right now we're trying to get funds, to gather funds for season 3.
Okay, cool.
Because we self-funded seasons 1 and 2. This is a long time in coming. We were thinking about this for a couple of decades already, that we really want to share our experiences with the world, because they're pretty exciting and suspenseful. Yeah, it was hard to find funding to actually produce these things.
Right. Okay.
And people couldn't perceive of it. I mean, production companies, movie studios, TV studios, we came close many times.
The author has deals and then they disappeared.
Yeah, it seems to be an uncanny knack for getting deals offered to us and then withdrawn the last minute. Something falls through all the time. Repeatedly over the years, we've written a lot of scripts, and that's what kept happening. So we decided in 2019 we're going to do this ourselves, self-funded seasons 1 and 2, proof of concept, and I think we proved it.
We keep winning all these contests, international film contests.
At last count, 27 awards, top awards for best in festival at different film contests. So
cool.
It's creating a stir, certainly in the film world.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, hopefully, are gathering a fan base. And but money is the issue right now. So because we can't keep self-funding. So when people check out our page, well, on Facebook, we have a Facebook group.
And a page also. We got both.
We got both. Facebook page, Facebook group. And you can find out the latest about a crowdfunding campaign we're starting in a few days.
Okay, cool.
Hopefully to raise the money for season 3, to do it that way. And also the feature film, one of the several feature films that we wrote together.
Yeah, we're looking for ways to produce that. Because we've got a novel, a mystery novel by the same name that's based on the same script.
Yeah, While the Village Sleeps. That's available on Kindle as an ebook right now. It's only for $1.
I mean, what do you got to lose? Only $1. That's US dollar. You know about dollars over there? Well, you're in England, right?
Yeah, sterling.
Yeah, you heard about dollars, right?
Yeah, I'm sure you heard about dollars. So it's
maybe he doesn't know what the heck it is. Does he know what New York City is?
Yeah, I'm sure he knows what New York City. And yeah, that's just for $1. You can check it out on Amazon and get our mystery novel, While the Village Sleeps. But that's what we're also hoping to turn into the movie that was originally meant to be. So looking into ways, trying to get that financed.
Awesome. So how did you come up with this whole concept? Have you been detectives? What got you into being detectives?
Yeah, well, because as we were saying before, we like to analyze people and analyze things and figure out riddles. And so we saw we had a knack for this stuff. And then, so there's another thing too, because we use that old trope.
The old trope of ventriloquist dummy. It helps in our interrogating.
Questioning, interviewing suspects, witnesses, because we drive them crazy. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know who's real. They begin to suspect that Trillo over here is real. Of course he's not. That's just a joke.
Yeah, I know it's just a joke.
Yeah, it's a kind of a satire, a parody of what people think. They ask, hey, is Suede real? And, all that kind of crap. But, but we use that, we confuse them. They don't know who to talk to. And before you know it, they're saying stuff they didn't want to say.
They start confessing to things or giving out information they didn't really intend to do.
Yeah, because we use that technique, keep them off balance, confused, and works to our advantage. There's great detective work that way.
Yeah. So, but we don't advertise. We don't put ads or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually we don't even have cards because we want people to come to us by word of mouth. Because we want them to really want to see us, really want to utilize our talents before they find us. So I'm not going to just look in some online listing or something. No, they got to find us the hard way.
Yeah, and then when they do, they're grateful. They're more grateful. Hopefully, that's the plan anyway.
Yeah.
Of being able to utilize our distinct and unique services.
Oh, nice. That's really cool to hear. I like how you've done that. So yeah.
Yeah, and the locations too, because a lot of the really scenic locations, divey sometimes, really crummy sometimes, but fun, you know, in an atmospheric way.
He's talking about locations around New York City, mostly around Brooklyn, where we're based, but
don't tell them the address.
No, I'm not going to tell you that. People have to find out by word of mouth, you know, like walk around Brooklyn and ask around until they find us. We don't give out our address just like this.
Certainly not to Englanders. They're gonna fly over here and flood us in our office.
Well, not these actually, not while the pandemic's still going on.
Oh yeah, we got a little safety gap there. The pandemic not going to be invaded by Kurtz yet.
No, not yet, not for a while.
You're lucky because I was heading to New York about a week ago until the pandemic hit. So.
Well, you're invited. I don't mean you. No, you're invited anytime. But I just don't mean the millions of followers you're likely to have. That they shouldn't all flood us at once.
Yeah, probably not everybody. Yeah, you know, just a little heads up that we've got to maybe in a couple of minutes we have to go see a client.
Yeah, we don't want to miss this one.
Yeah, this meeting with this client is it's very important for this new case.
Yeah, very important that we're not late for this.
Well, and why is this in particular very important?
Because she's a looker.
All right. Yeah, so we're not gonna. Yeah, we don't want to miss that one. But yeah, we just got maybe a minute or so. Then I think we'll have to pack it in.
But I think somebody else wants to talk to you over there.
Yeah, I know who he's referring to. There's this guy. We have a fan.
Okay.
Jonathan Geffner.
Yeah, and he is. Well, he's kind of unusual.
Yeah, he's weird.
Yeah.
He thinks he has this delusion. He thinks that he wrote all the scripts that we do for the episode for the web series.
Yeah, he thinks he wrote the web series
and wrote all the other scripts.
Yeah, the scripts for the TV show, the movies, all that stuff.
He thinks he even created our characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a nut job. Yeah. But he's harmless. We keep him around. We let him help out here.
Yeah, he helps out in our office, and so you know, it helps us a little bit with research because well, why not?
And he does it for free. Why not? Don't have to pay him.
So yeah, so that's why we keep him around.
He even set up the YouTube channel.
Oh, the YouTube channel. Yeah, he helped set it up and
wow.
Our Facebook group. Yeah, so we let him have his delusions.
Yeah,
he sounds like a great guy.
Yeah, well, that's going a little too far. But he's useful idiot.
All right. So anyway, he's yeah, but so he's hanging around here someplace. So since we have to go in a minute, we'll see if he'd like to talk to you.
Awesome, that's great.
Yeah. But listen, just a warning here. Don't be fooled by him. He's gonna act like he wrote the whole thing. He created the characters, all that crap. Don't fall for it.
I won't. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe we should head off now.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't want to be late for Fiona Fatale.
Fiona Fatale, the name of our client. So, so
Thanks
nice
for
talking to you. I
coming
hope our your fans and ours will check out and subscribe to the web series on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's easy to find us.
Yeah. Just type in Trillo and Suede on YouTube, or ventriloquist or detectives, Trillo, whatever, stuff like that. It'll pop up easily, so you'll enjoy it.
Cool.
Everyone will enjoy it.
We'll definitely check it out.
Okay, so see you later.
I'll see you later. Bye. Hello, welcome, Jonathan Geffner.
Yes, that's me. Nice to meet you. I understand you just had a talk with Trillo and Suede.
Yeah, they were very cool.
Oh, I'm glad you think so, because I created the characters, you may know.
Yeah, they said you'd mentioned something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just funny because they kind of think they created themselves, but you know, there's sort of two camps about that. There are the people who believe their story, and people who believe my story. So I guess you and your followers there, your viewers, can make up their own minds about which stories is more plausible. Oh, 1 second, please.
Okay.
Shut the door there. It's a little noisy out there.
Yeah, no.
Trillo Suede were getting a little excited about their appointment, rushing to it.
So I wanted to ask your first question of how you got into the whole of ventriloquism.
Well, I saw a street performer many years ago. It was over 30 years ago
Yeah.
in New York City, Columbus Circle, famous little point in New York City.
Yeah.
And the first time I had ever seen a ventriloquist perform, and live, I didn't see some on TV, but the first live performance, and I was mesmerized, and I just felt that I felt an epiphany that this is what I have to do, and it was very inspiring because I was really down at that point in my life. I had just dropped out of NYU, New York University.
Yeah.
I was going for a PhD in piano. I'd started that. I was a serious pianist back then in my youth, and just gotten a master's degree, then decided to go on to get a PhD, but I hated that program. It was so I quit, and I wasn't sure what else I'm going to do with the rest of my life because it's very tough to try to make it as a concert pianist. I mean, competition is ridiculous, and
Right.
also I had a big problem with stage fright, which I wasn't able to conquer up to that point. So
Okay.
The nerves drove me crazy, the stress, even as much as I loved music and playing the piano. But
Yeah.
I had a conundrum there, what to do with my life, because that was my biggest passion, music. But I had all this stage fright, and even without it, it was very difficult to make it. And I had various other interests, though. I was interested in comedy on the side. I had already been involved with Chicago City Limits. It's an improv comedy troupe.
Yeah.
It's based in New York City, but they're an offshoot of the famous Second City improv comedy organization, or that's the mecca of improv comedy in Chicago. So that's why they call themselves Chicago City Limits, but in New York. That's why I got involved with them, studying with them, training with them, and then performing with them. Also, I played piano for some of their shows, and I also did improv comedy, performed it around town at various comedy clubs. So I was involved in that. I also was part-time. I was teaching Yiddish and Hebrew. I was the director of several small Jewish schools along the like supplementary schools.
Yeah.
So I had that. That was actually my main income for my early adult life while I was pursuing piano too. I was
cool.
making money more from teaching and running these little schools.
Yeah.
So I had other interests too, but those are the main ones.
Right, okay.
Anyway, I found ventriloquism, and it just bowled me over it, and I decided I have to do this. And I went about practicing it, learning it, woodshedding as much as I could. Though that was pre-internet days, so it's much easier for someone to become a ventriloquist these days.
Yeah.
Because with the internet, boy, that's old people like me, we look at and with envy at the young people now, like, oh, we want to become a ventriloquist. Look how easy it is. You can find every video you want to see, and
tutorials,
teach online, and then you can watch performances by everybody online. I had to seek out old VHS tapes. Well, they weren't old in those days, but I mean VHS tapes which I found one place or the other in actual stores, shops, and watched them and studied from those and got books on it, things like that.
Yeah.
And but that within a year I was doing it professionally, and actually within a few months I was doing it professionally.
Oh, wow.
Starting to practice. I practiced obsessively. And then within a year I was doing it full time. It was my main occupation.
Yeah.
And through the years, it's been my main occupation. I mean, I say full time most of the time. I've done these other things on the side though through the years. Like I've taught some piano lessons through the years, and perform a little bit. Piano went back and forth from over the years. I stopped playing for many years, pretty much, and then I started playing. I got inspired to play the piano again, pick it up after my elder daughter. I have two daughters who are grown now. One graduated from Juilliard last year as a singer,
nice.
And the other, my younger one, is in college now as a filmmaker. So they're both very talented. Anyway, with my older one, Michelle, she's a little girl, we discovered that she had really great talent for singing. So as she pursued that, I accompanied her on the piano. So I became her main accompanist as she grew up, and that also got me to play a little more on my own too. So a long-winded answer, but there's a lot of different facets to all these things I've been doing. But
Yeah.
but ventriloquism has been the main thing. You know, even though the little music on the side, and I teach and I translate Yiddish. People sometimes hire me to translate as a
wow.
translator of old letters, family letters, and books and articles and things like that. So
Nice.
yeah, those are the various things I've been doing.
That's really cool. So obviously you grew up in ventriloquism. Was there any inspirations for your? I know you said obviously you watch street art, but is anyone that inspired you to get into it as well?
Well, to get into it, that was the inspiration. Once I got into it, though, my main inspiration in developing my skills and my stage persona and approach to performing and style of humor, all that stuff, the biggest inspiration was Paul Winchell. Paul Winchell, I don't know if you've heard of him, but he was one of the most famous ventriloquists in his days.
Yeah.
As you know, fame is very fleeting, right? So it's these days, probably most people never heard of Paul Winchell. I think most young people probably never heard of him. But in his day, in the 50s and 60s, he had a TV show. He had various permutations of his own TV show.
Yeah.
The Winchell and Mahoney Hour was one because it was Paul Winchell and Jerry Mahoney was his main dummy.
Okay.
And you know, when I was a little kid, I remember watching that show and really liking it. Although at that time it didn't inspire me to become a ventriloquist, but what I did is I got later on when I was an adult and became interested in this. Then I sought out videotapes of Paul Winchell in particular and watched him and studied him, and I really kind of modeled myself after him stylistically. There are a lot. I watched all the great ventriloquists there of the past and modern era too. There are some great ones who are performing now too. So watch everybody and try to learn from everybody. You know, some ideas from people.
Yeah. So is there anyone you would love to collab with, or have collabed with?
Oh, well, if I had the opportunity, I could think of a number of people, but as far as a writer, I'm happy to be writing my own material. I've always written all my own material.
Right. Okay.
So, and I've written a novel and stories and things. So, and also the schools that I've taught and directed to. I always wrote a lot of little plays and skits for the kids.
Yeah.
So I utilize that talent as a writer in those ways. And for the episodes in my web series, I've written everything myself too. So I'm not looking for any collaborators, but I would love to have a collaborator or more or a bunch of collaborators if I had a big enough kind of venture. Like, you know, I've wanted to have a TV show, a TV series for many years. I had ideas, various concepts to have a variety show of one sort or another, but also kids series. I've had various concepts that I've tried to pitch, but haven't found any way into the business. But also Trillo and Suede. Trillo and Suede has been my major project.
Yeah,
I was working on. I heard Trillo and Suede themselves were talking about that.
Yeah.
So you already know something about that history, which is true. And so if I had a TV series like big time Netflix, HBO, something like that, then of course I wouldn't be writing I wouldn't have time to write all the episodes. Nobody has. I mean, none of these series have one writer. No one writer would be able to do all that or have the time to do it all. So I would. I'd love to have a team of a few real great writers to help me. Right.
Yeah, of course. I don't know if you followed most ventriloquists, but do you know R.L. Stine, who does the Goosebumps?
Oh, the children's author.
Yeah. Have you ever sort of gone like that way with a dummy? Like Slappy from Goosebumps.
I've heard about him or seen images, but I never read it, so I really don't know. Or seen it. Did they make a movie out of it, or did they ever do that?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it, so I really don't know about it.
I was going to ask if you would ever make a dummy like that sort of evil, that sort of story.
So is that what it is? Is the evil dummy trope? Huh? That became standard, like cliche amongst ventriloquists.
Oh, okay.
It seems like whenever they put a ventriloquist in a movie or TV or something like that, it's usually the evil dummy, the dummy takes over, the dummy comes to life. So
Yes.
it's in that vein, right? That's what it is. Yeah.
That's the exact, yeah.
Figures, yeah. He didn't invent that concept. It's been done many times. But yeah, so to answer your question, no, I'm aware of the fact that's been done many times. So that hasn't interested me. I didn't want to go in that direction.
Okay.
Not as the main thing I'm doing. But at some point, yeah, I'd be happy to include that at some point in my series if I can keep going on with my series. If I can get it funded for one thing, that's where I'm stuck right now working on. But yeah, if I keep going with the series or get it as a TV series, sure, at some point I'm sure we'll put that in also, the evil dummy thing.
Yeah, I thought I'd ask you because that's the most popular ventriloquist dummy I grew up with as a kid. So I thought you might have seen it, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, that's well, even in puppets like Chucky. There's the Chucky series, the horror films.
Oh yeah,
seen those?
Yes.
Yeah. So he wasn't a ventriloquist dummy, just a doll that comes to life, but kind of looks like a mad ventriloquist dummy. The way they created him, I remember. So
yeah,
that's also the same idea.
Yeah, exactly. So you obviously said, well, they said about season 3 happening eventually. How many seasons are you ahead with like writing or planning, or do you do it season by season?
Season by season, because I've written so many things that didn't get produced. It's really been very frustrating.
Okay.
It's been over 20 years now. I've written 5 feature films, all featuring Trillo and Suede, that never got produced. And I did it that way because I did the first one on spec because I was inspired to do it. And that was called The Hong Kong Canary, which also wound up being the name of the first episode in the web series, which just took the inkling of the idea, the concept from the feature film, and I made a short episode out of it. It's but it was inspired by that same idea. So The Hong Kong Canary is the first one I wrote, and I shopped it around as much as I could, but it's very hard. It's a kind of a catch-22 with this, you may know, in this business, that you can't, if you don't know anyone in the business, it's hard to get to know anybody. And then people want to see, like producers, they want people who already are famous to create shows around them rather than create a new star. And how do you get famous if you can't get your own show? So that's the conundrum I was faced with. Because I did get it into the hands of some people. They first time around, in fact, with the Hong Kong Canaries back in 2000, the year 2000. So this is the year after I started writing. That was my first script, and it somehow got to the desk of the what do they call it? The head of development at Sky TV. Your country, Sky TV. I'm sure you know Sky TV, right? That's still around, Sky TV?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So it was a woman whose name I forget, may not be the same person anymore, but all those years later. But she wrote me a really lovely rejection. I remember she praised it very highly, the script. She said it's brilliant and hilarious and unique and etc. All kinds of great adjectives. And she said, however, it doesn't really match the direction we're going in on Sky TV, so that we'll have to pass on it. So and that's seems like so close. I don't know if it was really so close, but it sounded like. But a number of other such rejections along the way. It's like, oh, so frustrating. People saying that, and I wrote more scripts because I did come across producers around the world who said, yeah, we love this, but you have like someone in India said, I have the money to do this. I'm going to put it up. I'm going to produce this but we're going to shoot it in India. But you got to write a script that takes place here. So, okay, fine. So I wrote a script, a whole screenplay that takes place in India.
Wow.
So it feels like, it fits that environment.
Yeah.
And I sent it. By the time I sent it to him, he disappeared. It was like, that's it.
Oh, really?
And so I had that same thing in Russia and in China, and then another one in England. So I wound up with 5 feature films I've never produced. So brings us to the future, fast forward. So when I decided on doing the web series, I decided, well, I'm going to fund it myself. I saved up enough money that I can do this as a, low budget, but but high quality, I think, especially
Yeah.
we squeezed out whatever we could from that tight budget. But I did not want to write anything else that's not going to be produced, you know. So I wrote season 1, I shot it. I wrote season 2, I shot it. Now, season 3, I don't know if I'll be able to produce it. If I'll have I don't have the money. I'm going to try to crowdfund it shortly. And so I've written a lot of ideas for it. I've got a jumble of ideas assembled for season 3. But once I know that I can shoot it, or once I know how many episodes I'll be able to shoot, then I'll write it and shoot it within a couple of months, because I write fast when when I'm inspired, when I'm under the gun to do it. So I could write the 10 episodes in I could in a couple of weeks, but then tweak them, hone them over the next few weeks. So let's say within about 2 months of very very hard work, I could write and have the 10 episodes ready. These are short episodes, by the way. I mean, that if it was full length, that would be too much. But these go about 6, 7, 8 minutes each one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, season 1 is only they average 5 minutes, very short. Season 2 about 7 minutes. They average. So yeah, keeping it like that. That's why I can write those 10 episodes within a few weeks.
Ah, right, nice. That's really cool. Right, I want to ask, what made you choose ventriloquism? I know they're not the exact same, but what made you choose ventriloquism over puppetry? I know they're not the same, but what made you go down one path instead of the other?
Yeah, it was that one incident that I referred to where I saw the street performer whose name I don't remember. I was Anthony. Was it Anthony? Was that his first or last name? I don't remember, but somehow I remember the name Anthony. At the time, he was a young ventriloquist. I haven't seen him or come across him ever since then, really. Oh, a couple of times I did see him someplace, but rarely. And anyway, so I wish I knew who it was and knew where he is, so I could thank him for inspiring me. But that was really the inspiration. I was never like some people. It's a childhood thing, like they grow up loving puppets, particularly, or dolls, or something like that. And no, I didn't have a particular. I played a little with puppets. I played around, but I didn't have a passion for them.
Okay.
Some people come to ventriloquism through magic. A lot of magicians become ventriloquists.
Yeah, of course.
Because they look at it as another prop. Or something like that, like they do various magic tricks, and one of the tricks is they make a dummy talk, So that's how I've noticed quite a few ventriloquists come to that. They were magicians first,
right?
And then some people are. Oh, another route is comedy. Some stand-up comics have become ventriloquists. Quite a few of them, because they also see it as a prop to tell jokes, to be funny. They use it to be funny. So they think they do their stand-up comedy, and they think what can I do that's a little different now? That's just the usual stand-up. I'll try that ventriloquism thing. I'll get myself a puppet. So that's another route. But I didn't come through any of those routes. For me, it was that moment of inspiration. But it was, I utilize other talents and other experiences, because I had already been a teacher for a number of years, and so I had experience dealing with kids. I started out being a kids ventriloquist primarily. Most of my shows were geared for kids because I was experienced with that, and I'm very good with kids, with communicating with them, with interacting with kids, and knowing how they think and stuff like that. So that's what I started doing. But then I felt I don't want to only perform for kids, and actually it was a little frustrating because I don't only want to do kids level humor. I have I have stuff in me that only adults would understand. So I started writing for adults too, and performing a bit for adults. But I remained mostly a kids performer because I just enjoyed those venues better. That's a lifestyle thing. I did not like to go. I didn't want to go in the direction of being an adult entertainer, adult level, or because that meant comedy clubs. That became like the main circuit was comedy clubs, and I knew other ventriloquists who they only perform for adults, or mainly, or that's what they really wanted to do. And I saw, well, how do you make a living doing that? It's like they got to be on the road all the time and performing in comedy clubs. I did not like comedy clubs. I don't like the atmosphere.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I mean, I enjoy comedians, you know, various comedians I enjoy,
Yeah.
but I don't like the just like the atmosphere of comedy clubs in general. And yeah, it didn't interest me. And also being on the road. Oh, at that point in my life, I was already, I was a young father. And so I was, well, I wasn't that young, but I was, but my a father of young daughters. So two little daughters as I was beginning my career.
Oh, cool.
And so, or shortly after that, they, you know, so I was, and I didn't want to be away from them, and especially because my marriage fell apart very quickly, and I became a single dad, and I raised my two daughters,
Right, okay.
as a single dad, and so you know, from a very early age of the girls. So yeah, that's my most important achievement that I feel is raising my daughters, and you know, more meaningful to me than my career or anything else. But it did make it difficult to pursue my career, and you know, it limited my options. For example, I had thought about going to Hollywood and just pitching my scripts and my concepts there,
Okay.
knocking on doors. I mean, that's what a lot of people do. They just go to Hollywood and they, you know, they do whatever they can to try to get in with the business. You know, knock on doors and call, you know, every agent, every manager, try to get to the parties and the bars and everything, the restaurants where they hang out. I mean, just try to get into the business by being in Hollywood, right? And so I thought of that idea, but I quickly nixed it because I mean, no, I can't. I'm not going to leave my daughters. You know, I put them in someone else's hands. So yeah, so I was stuck in New York. I mean, New York has some opportunities too, but that's again mostly if you want to do the comedy club circuit. And then I wouldn't be able to stay in New York because you know, even if I got popular in the New York comedy circuit, then I'd have a lot of pressure on me to go and take it on the road. So that's so I continued performing for kids mainly and family shows, but staying in the New York City area mostly. I would do runouts sometimes, like for one day.
Okay.
One night I go someplace else, but not often. And just you know, just like runouts for a day, and just pursuing these scripts, trying to get things produced as much as I could.
Awesome. That's really cool to hear. I've asked everything I want to then, so thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Same here. Well, so nice to be able to communicate across the ocean like this so easily these days. And yeah, so if I don't know if Trillo and Suede mentioned that our 2 seasons of the web series are up and running. They can see them. And also we have a lot of other videos up there, not just the web series.
Okay.
But Trillo and Suede have produced a bunch of other videos that are not officially part of the web series, but just fun videos of various and other characters too, other puppet characters. So my puppet characters, me and the other characters. But you can see it all there at Trillo and Suede on YouTube.
Awesome. I'll be sure to check it out, and I hope we do this again down the line.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Awesome.
Nice talking with you.
You too. Have a good day. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.